Hi, it's Sue with today's Bible reading for February 16th. And today I'm reading Numbers 11 through 13 from the World English Bible. And one thing I like to do when I'm reading the Bible just for fun is to keep an eye out for parts of the scripture that I recognize as songs, either popular or even old hymns. There's so many beautiful old hymns that were made from scripture verses. And I realize this isn't for deep study. This is just a fun thing I do when I'm, you know, um having the discipline of reading through every day. So it's just something I kind of look forward to now. I look for that. Sometimes when I'm reading by myself, I'll sing it. I'll sing the song I knew. I stop and sing, and I'll spare you that torture right now. But I also put little musical symbols in my Bible next to it. And the other thing I like to look for are messianic prophecies. And actually, both of these were in yesterday's reading. That's the reason I'm thinking of it. There was a song hidden in yesterday's, and there was a messianic prophecy in there, the one about none of his bones being broken. And I did put the scripture reference in the description of yesterday's um, video once it was posted, like I promised I would. The third thing I like to keep a lookout for when I'm reading are answers to my questions. I told you that I view the Bible, or I like to use the metaphor for reading the Bible as putting together a jigsaw puzzle. And sometimes you have these little pieces hanging out there. You might have one or two pieces over to the side that you want to find other parts that go with that particular color or that particular theme, right? So you can get that part of the puzzle put together. And that's what I call those questions I have, like hanging out there in the air. And I always say questions are good. Questions lead you to answers, right? So I try to keep my antennas up for those when I'm reading through the daily word as well. So there's a few little Bible reading tips for you to keep it fun and interesting. Chapter 11, verse 1. The people were complaining in the ears of Yahweh. When Yahweh heard it, his anger burned, and Yahweh's fire burned among them and consumed some of the outskirts of the camp. The people cried to Moses, and Moses prayed to Yahweh, and the fire abated. The name of that place was called Taberah, which means burning, because Yahweh's fire burned among them. The mixed multitude that was among them lusted exceedingly, and the children of Israel who wept again and said, Who will give us meat to eat? We remember fish, which we ate in Egypt for nothing. The cucumbers and the melons and the leeks. Let me read that part again. Let me just go back and read that a little better. Verse 4. The mixed multitude that was among them lusted exceedingly, and the children of Israel also wept again and said, Who will give us meat to eat? We remember the fish which we ate in Egypt for nothing, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now we have lost our appetite. There is nothing at all except this manna to look at. The manna was like coriander seed, and it looked like bdellium, which, let me look at the footnote. Bdellium is a resin extracted from certain African trees. The people went around, gathered it, and ground it in mills, or beat it in mortars, and boiled it in pots, and made cakes of it. Its taste was like the taste of fresh oil. When the dew fell on the camp in the night, the manna fell on it. Now that says fresh oil. I thought it had said that it was sweet, like a sweet cake. Hmm. All right, now I got a little question hanging out there again because I didn't remember it. I remembered it being described as sweet. Verse 10. Moses heard the people weeping throughout their families, every man at the door of his tent, and Yahweh's anger burned greatly, and Moses was displeased. Moses said to Yahweh, Why have you treated your servant so badly? Why haven't I found favor in your sight that you lay the burden of all this people on me? Have I conceived all this people? Have I brought them out that you should tell me, carry them in your bosom as a nurse carries a nursing infant to the land which you swore to your fathers? Where could I get meat to give all these people? For they weep before me, saying, Give us meat that we may eat. I am not able to bear all the people alone, because it's too heavy for me. If you treat me this way, please kill me right now. If I have found favor in your sight, and don't let me if I have found favor in your sight, and don't let me see my wretchedness. Yahweh said to Moses, Gather to me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders of the people and officers over them, and bring them to the tent of meeting, that they may stand there with you. I will come down and talk with you there. I will take of the spirit which is on you. That's a capital S for spirit. I will take of the spirit which is on you and will put it on them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with you, that you don't bear it yourself alone. So you see there, I told you I like to look at prayers that are in the Bible too. Prayers that certain people made and recorded for us. And here's Moses' honest prayer before God, his honest emotion. He's bringing his petition. He knows who to go to. Didn't say God was mad at him for his prayer. God was mad because of the people's nasty attitude, right? So what's the difference between their complaining attitude and Moses coming before him? I don't know completely, but I would say, Moses knew to come to God. He came to him in faith. He was honest. And, he's bringing this petition before God, before God's mercy seat or before the throne or before the court, however you want to put that. He brought it to God, and the Lord heard his prayer and he's helping him. So, I think that we shouldn't be afraid to go to God with honesty and, of course, with a contrite heart, with a proper attitude, trusting God, not complaining about him. And that's a good way to pray, I would say. Verse 16. Yahweh said to Moses, I said that. So he said, you won't have to bear it alone. I'm going to give you these men. Verse 18. Say to the people, sanctify yourselves in preparation for tomorrow, and you will eat meat, for you have wept in the ears of Yahweh, saying, who will give us meat to eat? For it was well with us in Egypt. Therefore Yahweh will give you meat, and you will eat. You will not eat just 1 day or 2 days or 5 days or 10 days or 20 days, but a whole month, until it comes out of your nostrils, and it is loathsome to you, because you have rejected Yahweh who is among you, and have wept before him, saying, why did we come out of Egypt? That's like a child saying to their parent, a loving, caring parent, you know, the grass is always greener. Why didn't you raise us like this family? It invokes the ire of the parent, the jealousy and the frustration and the disappointment. Anyway, so he said, Moses said, the people among whom I am are 600,000 men on foot, and you have said, I will give them meat to eat, that they may eat a whole month. Shall flocks and herds be slaughtered for them, to be sufficient for them? Shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them, to be sufficient for them? I'm trying to understand, because I thought they had livestock. So why would they not have had meat? If anybody knows the answer for that, let me know. Like, had they already gone through all their livestock? Verse 23. Yahweh said to Moses, has Yahweh's hand grown short? Now you will see whether my word will happen to you or not. Moses went out and told the people Yahweh's words, and he gathered 70 men of the elders of the people and set them around the tent. Yahweh came down in the cloud and spoke to him, and took in the spirit that was on him and put it on the 70 elders. So, I'm betting that they actually felt that. They didn't just see the cloud, they felt the cloud. They experienced God's presence sitting there in a way they hadn't before. They got a portion of what Moses had experienced. Isn't that powerful? Same spirit that's poured out today on believers. So it says, he took the spirit that was on him and put it on the 70 elders. When the spirit rested on them, they prophesied, and they did so no more. But they did so no more. But 2 men remained in the camp. The name of one was Eldad, and the name of the other was Medad, and the spirit rested on them. They were of those who were written, but had not gone out to the tent, and they prophesied in the camp. A young man ran and told Moses and said, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. Joshua, son of Nun, the servant of Moses, one of his chosen men, answered, my lord, Moses, forbid them. Moses said to him, are you jealous for my sake? I wish that all Yahweh's people were prophets, that Yahweh would put his spirit on them. Moses went into the camp, he and the elders of Israel. A wind from Yahweh went out and brought quail from the sea, and let them fall by the camp, about a day's journey on this side, and a day's journey on the other side around the camp, and about 2 cubits above the surface of the earth. The people rose up all that day and all that night and all the next day, and gathered the quails. He who gathered least gathered 10 homers, and they spread them out. They spread them all out themselves around the camp. While the meat was still between their teeth, before it was chewed, Yahweh's anger burned against the people, and Yahweh struck the people with a great plague. The name of that place was called Kibroth Hattava, which means graves of lust, because there they buried the people who lusted. From Kibroth Hattava, the people traveled to Hazeroth, and they stayed at Hazeroth. Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Cushite woman whom he had married, for he had married a Cushite woman. They said, has Yahweh indeed spoken only with Moses? Hasn't he also spoken with us? And Yahweh heard it. Now the man Moses was very humble, more than all the men who were on the surface of the earth. Again, didn't Moses write that? Didn't Moses write this? It's funny. Makes you wonder. Verse 4. Yahweh spoke suddenly to Moses, to Aaron, and to Miriam, "You three come out to the tent of meeting." The three of them came out. Yahweh came down in a pillar of cloud and stood at the door of the tent and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forward. He said, "Now hear my words. If there is a prophet among you, I, Yahweh, will make myself known to him in a vision. I will speak with him in a dream. My servant Moses is not so. He is faithful in all my house. With him I will speak mouth to mouth, even plainly and not in riddles, and he shall see Yahweh's form. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant, against Moses?" Yahweh's anger burned against them, and he departed. The cloud departed from over the tent, and behold, Miriam was leprous, as white as snow. Aaron looked at Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. Aaron said to Moses, "O my Lord, please don't count this sin against us, in which we have done foolishly, and in which we have sinned. Let her not, I pray, be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed when he comes out of his mother's womb." Moses cried to Yahweh, saying, "Heal her, God, I beg you." Yahweh said to Moses, "If her father had spit in her face, shouldn't she be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut up outside the camp 7 days, and after that she shall be brought in again." Miriam was shut up outside the camp 7 days, and the people didn't travel until Miriam was brought in again. Afterward, the people traveled from Hazeroth and encamped in the wilderness of Paran. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Send men that they may spy out the land of Canaan, which I give to the children of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers you shall send a man, every one a prince among them." Moses sent them from the wilderness of Paran according to the commandment of Yahweh, all of them who were men who were heads of the children of Israel. These were their names. Of the tribe of Reuben, Shemua, son of Zakur. Of the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat, son of Hori. Of the tribe of Judah, Caleb, son of Jephunneh. Of the tribe of Issachar, Egal, son of Joseph. Of the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea, son of Nun. Of the tribe of Benjamin, Palti, the son of Raphu. Of the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel, son of Zodi. Of the tribe of Joseph, of the tribe of Manasseh, Gadi the son of Susi. Of the tribe of Dan, Amiel son of Gamali. Of the tribe of Asher, Sethur son of Michael. Of the tribe of Naphtali, Zabi son of Vophsi. Of the tribe of Gad, Ewell son of Maki. These are the names of the men whom Moses sent to spy out the land. Moses called Hoshea the son of Nun Joshua. Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said to them, "Go up this way by the south, and go up into the hill country. See the land, what it is, and the people who dwell therein, whether they are strong or weak, whether they are few or many, and in what the land is that they dwell in, whether it is good or bad, and what cities they are that they dwell in, whether in camps or in strongholds, and what the land is, whether it is fertile or poor, whether there is wood therein or not. Be courageous and bring some of the fruit of the land." Now the time was the time of the first ripe grapes. So they went up and spied out the land from the wilderness of Zin to Rehob, to the entrance of Hamath. They went up by the south and came to Hebron, and Ahiman, and Sheshai, and Talmai. The children of Anak were there, and those were giants, I believe. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. They came to the valley of Eshcol, and cut down from there a branch with one cluster of grapes, and they bore it on a staff between the two. They also brought some of the pomegranates and figs. That place was called the Valley of Eshcol, because of the cluster which the children of Israel cut down from there. They returned from spying out the land at the end of 40 days. They went and came to Moses, to Aaron, and to all the congregation of the children of Israel, to the wilderness of Paran, to Kadesh, and brought back word to them and to all the congregation. They showed them the fruit of the land. They told him and said, "We came to the land where you sent us. Surely it flows with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. However, the people who dwell in the land are strong, and the cities are fortified and very large. Moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. Amalek dwells in the land of the south. The Hittite, the Jebusite, and the Amorite dwell in the hill country. The Canaanite dwells by the sea and along the side of the Jordan." Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, "Let's go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it." But the men who went up with him said, "We aren't able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we." They brought up an evil report of the land which they had spied out to the children of Israel, saying, "The land through which we have gone to spy out is a land that eats up its inhabitants, and all the people who we saw in it are men of great stature. There we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak. Let's see what it says for Nephilim. Giants. So it says, there we saw the giants. The sons of Anak who came from the Nephilim, who were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. Let me read that last 3 verses again. They brought up an evil report of the land which they had spied out to the children of Israel, saying, the land through which we have gone to spy it out is a land that eats up its inhabitants, and all the people who we saw in it are men of great stature. There we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, who came from the Nephilim, who were on our own sight, who were in our own sight as grasshoppers. I'm sorry, I keep stumbling over that last sentence. We were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. So I wanted to read that again because it's important to recognize that the races of people that God was sending them to wipe out were these Nephilim giant monsters, aberrations. Most likely some kind of a hybrid. They were evil, they were wicked, they sacrificed their children on altars. I believe if you look at history that many of them were cannibals. Okay, so this isn't just some other folks living happily in their villages that God is eradicating off the earth. It's the same kind of problems that were there before the flood, before Noah's flood, when God destroyed the earth that time. It's more of the same. So I just wanted to point out that last part there. You can look some of that up and find out more about it if you're interested. So that's it for today's reading. Tomorrow I'll be reading chapter 14 and 15. And yeah, we're not even halfway through the readings for this book. So we've got a lot more adventure to go in this book. I hope you'll join me for it. God bless you.